You haven't lost yourself. I know that's not what it feels like right now. It feels like somewhere between your 30s and now, between all the roles and responsibilities and things you handled and people you took care of, you just disappeared. Not all at once, not in a way anyone could name, just slowly, quietly, until one day you realize you were barely there. But here's what I know. After 16 years of sitting with women in exactly this place, you haven't lost yourself. You just stopped listening. Today, I want to tell you why and what it actually means to find your way back. Let me explain to you what I hear from women in their 40s and 50s more than almost anything else. She's sitting across from me, successful, capable, by every measure doing well, and she says something like, I don't recognize myself anymore, or I'm so tired, but I can't tell you why. Or the one that stays with me, I feel like I've been living someone else's life. And when I ask her to say more, she gets quiet because she doesn't have words. She doesn't have the words for it yet. She just knows that the version of herself she used to feel connected to, the one with opinions and desires and a sense of her own aliveness, has gotten quieter and quieter over the years. Not because anything terrible happened, but because life happened. Decades and decades of it. Children who needed her, a career that demanded her, parents who were aging, a partner who needed support, a household that didn't run itself. And slowly, without meaning to, she organized herself entirely around what everyone else needed. And she forgot to ask what she needed. If any part of this sounds familiar, this video is for you. I'm Pamela Silsby. I am a licensed therapist. I'm now practicing as a midlife coach, empowering women. And I've spent 16 years working with women who are exactly where you are right now. And today, I want to offer you 3 truths that I wish someone had told me that I tell every single woman I work with when she first arrives. 3 truths that change everything. So truth number 1, you didn't lose yourself. You outgrew the container. The life you built was built by a younger version of you, a version who had different information, different fears, different ideas about what success should look like and who she was supposed to be. She built the best life she could with what she knew at that time. And you've been living it ever since. But here's what happens in midlife. And I've watched this happen hundreds and hundreds of times. You grow, you deepen, your values shift. What mattered at 32 doesn't matter as much at 45, at 50. What you were willing to tolerate shrinks. What you actually want gets louder. And the life that used to fit stops fitting. That's not loss, that's growth. You didn't lose yourself. You literally outgrew the container you built for yourself. And the discomfort you're feeling is not failure. It's your aliveness pressing up against something that's gotten too small. The question isn't what happened to me. The question is, what am I becoming? Truth number 2, the exhaustion is real and it isn't laziness. Most of the women I work with are exhausted in a way they can't explain. They've slept, maybe, they've taken a vacation, they've tried the meditation app and the morning routine and the gratitude journal, and they're still tired. Here's why. When you spend years, even decades, living for other people's needs, making decisions from obligation rather than desire, managing everyone else's emotions as well as your own, your nervous system stays in a low-grade state of activation. Not a crisis, not a breakdown, just always on, always braced, always managing. And that kind of chronic, quiet, invisible labor is genuinely exhausting. It doesn't show up in a blood test. It doesn't look like burnout on the outside, but it's real. It's physiological, and no amount of rest fixes it. Because rest isn't the solution to chronic nervous system activation. Regulation is. And regulation is something you can learn, something I teach, something that changes how you feel in your body within days, not months, when you actually practice it. You are not lazy, you are not weak, you are not failing self-care. You are a woman whose nervous system has been working overtime for a very long time. And it's time to let it come down. Okay, so truth number 3. Number 3 is coming back to yourself. It's not selfish. I hear this over and over again. Women think it's selfish. It is necessary. And I want to say this as clearly as I can, because I know how many of you were raised to believe the opposite. Putting yourself back in the center of your own life is not selfish. It is the most important thing you can do for yourself and for everyone else, because you deserve it. You do. But mostly because you cannot give from empty. The version of you that's running on fumes, that's going through the motions, that's present in body but absent in spirit, that version is not fully available to the people she loves. Not to her children, her partner, her work, her friendships. The version of you that's grounded, regulated, connected to herself, that woman has everything to give. And she gives it from a completely different place. Not from obligation, not from fear, but from choice. That is what coming back to yourself makes possible. Not a different life, not a smaller life, not an abandonment of everyone you love. A life that is fully, actually, unmistakably yours. I've watched women walk into this work completely disconnected from themselves and capable, accomplished, and quietly, privately wondering if this is all there is. And I've watched those same women, not overnight, not with some dramatic life overhaul, but gradually through consistent inside-out work, come back. Not back to who they were in their 30s, not to some younger, simpler version of themselves, but back to themselves, the current version, the one that's been growing and deepening and getting ready for this next chapter. That woman is not gone. She's been waiting. And the work, the real work, is simply learning to listen to her again. You haven't lost yourself. You just stopped listening. And listening, that's something you can learn. If this landed for you, I'd love for you to take one more step. And you can just press subscribe, the link below, and you can continue to listen to this channel and spend time with me. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it.